I feel that if I don't help people understand the true nature of reality and help them understand how we manifest our reality, then there are certain forces at work, certain ruling forces, ruling factions on this planet that are attempting to make things as negative as possible in order to influence this coming shift. I believe it is the people who will control the shift. It isn't that the police state is simply going to happen, and it isn't that utopia is simply going to happen. What is going to happen through this change is our choice, and that choice is one of fear or love. If we choose to be in a state of fear, we will indeed create a police state for the entire planet. Whereas if we choose to be in a state of love and empathy and connection to each other, we can quite literally build a heaven on earth. The choice is ours, and the choice lies with the decisions made by the collective consciousness. This is why I feel it is important to wake people up to the connection that we have, wake people up to the true nature of reality. I speak out against a lot of the corporate criminal activity that is happening on the world, the actions of companies like Monsanto. I try to wake people up to the fact that there is a ruling elite that is running the planet, simply because it's so obvious. It's so obvious that it's all there. And by waking them up to the fact that this is occurring, that these companies are carrying out criminal activities with the approval of the government, that the government is puppeteered by a corrupt banking system, this banking system is privately run, the whole thing's been orchestrated by a private hand. If people can simply wake up to the reality of this, then it helps them to see the type of matrix that they are living in. And then when they really start saying, okay, well look, that's how the physical world is run, that's how this society is run, but how is the whole world run? How is reality run? And then you start to look at quantum physics, you start to look at energy, you start to look at the work of people like Nassim Harriman, who I do intend to have on the show at some stage. I have contacted him and he has agreed to come on, but I just haven't had a stable enough connection to be able to do it. But anyway, if you look at the work of some of these people, and you find out about the true nature of reality, and you realize the connection that we do have to each other, and the method of accessing this conscious energy field around us that is talked about in all of this research, the way to access this field is through empathy, through the power of emotion, the power of intention, the power of manifestation. Then a whole new picture of reality becomes very clear to you, and you begin to see just how easily we could in fact shift this entire consciousness. We could shift this entire reality. When you begin to see this, and you begin to see that the very reason for all of these wars and all of these conflicts and all of this monetary crash and all of this stuff, it isn't just about control, it's also about manipulation of energy. It's also about ritual. It's also about keeping people in a state of fear. Then you can see how the change through this shift is being manipulated. Seeing how all of these wars are done ritualistically. As I spoke about on previous shows, when they conducted the invasion of Iraq, the shock and awe campaign, the war began on Beltane and finished on Walpurgis Night, which is an ancient druidic period of ritual. You begin to see how this happens. The very campaign itself was called Shock and Awe. Shock and Awe is an ancient goddess of sacrifice. You see all of these things. You look at World War II, the Nazi death camps. Whatever happened there, there's all sorts of things in dispute. Some people dispute the number of victims, some people dispute that they were even gas chambers, whatever. It doesn't matter for this discussion, it doesn't matter. What matters is that those camps existed and the terrible things happened in them. These camps, when you look at them on a map, you mark them all out, they all form a pentangle. They're all in very bizarre spots, and all of these camps form a pentangle. You can go and look at all of this, and you can mark them all out on a map, and there they are, a pentangle, which is why they built them in some of these ridiculous places that they were in, which were quite hard to get to, and they could have built it on a more simpler location. But anyway, these mark out a pentagram, and all of these pentagram points are all on earth ley lines. So all of these things that happened in these camps, all that energy that was channeled from that fear, that death, and that torture, this all got channeled into these ley lines and set up this electromagnetic thing that's still running around the Earth. All of these wars are conducted in certain points. That's why they all happen in certain power areas of the Earth, because they put that energy into the Earth. They put that energy into the power grid of the planet. That is the energy that feeds us, that helps us create this negatively based reality. Because this is the energy supply that exists all around us. Because it's been fed by these dark energetic forces that are still in these ley lines and still in these power grids churning around the Earth. All of these things, September the 11th, all of these wars and rituals and the amount of stuff that goes on to keep the field negatively charged. I've been trying to help people become aware of all of this because it's important. But seeing this amount of effort, the amount of effort that they have to go to create this reality, to create this negatively charged reality. All of these things like World War II, all the death camps, 9/11, all of the wars in the Middle East, all the wars and starvation that's going on everywhere, the fluoride, the chemtrails, the television brainwashing, the financial crisis, everything, folks. There's so much of it. Just seeing how much trouble they have to go to keep you in a state of fear should help you clearly understand how powerful a state of empathy is. Because they have to do all of that to keep you in fear and to keep this reality functioning the way it does. Whereas all you have to do is change your emotional state. That's pretty powerful stuff, folks. And it's almost comforting to see how much trouble they have to go to. Because it should help you to understand just how powerful you actually are if you choose to change your emotional state and choose to center yourself in love and act always from empathy. Act always in a manner that follows the one universal law of absolute and unconditional love and service to the creation for the Creator. It's really that simple. And so this is why I do what I do, my friends. I don't feel an urgent need, a fear-based need to suddenly wake society up to the encroaching police state. I act purely from compassion. I act purely from empathy towards my fellow man. My goal is to help people understand the simplicity of this reality, the simplicity of changing our situation. If a lot of people simply don't wake up, well, that's fine. That's just the way it's supposed to be, because everything happens for a reason. But seeing that there is some type of parasite that is control of this planet, seeing the sort of reality that they have the potential of creating if we let them, this is something that I don't want for my son. Not when it would be so simple and so easy for humanity to regain its connection to itself, simply by seeing the reality of how the world is run, simply by seeing the reality of the connection we all have to each other. It really becomes so clear. And this is why I do what I do. It's not because I have a need to save any of you. It's not because I'm worried about my own future. I'll be fine. I've always been fine. I'm a survivor. Whatever the world presents for me, I'll simply go with the flow and I'll get through it. Everything that's happened in the last 2 years of my life has clearly shown that the universe will provide. I do what I do out of love. That is the sole purpose. That is my sole motivation in all of these shows, in all of the films, the literature and everything that I've done on the Crow House. That is my sole motivation. I still go out, I put up flyers around town, I hand out DVDs to people, I try to get people to sign petitions for important causes such as this internet censorship. But again, I do that because I care. I do that from love. I do it simply because it needs to be done. I do it because I feel the solution to our problems is easy. All that is needed is positive action. And I feel that if I'm not part of the solution, then I'm part of the problem. So that's why I do what I do. I appreciate any help that people have given me. I honestly couldn't continue to do it without you. Those few people who do make donations, it really does help an awful lot, folks. So I would like to put out a thank you to those people. I know I haven't had time to email and write to the people who have donated, but you do have my absolute and very heartfelt thanks for your continued support in helping me get this message out to people.